The Unity Station shimmered like a polished jewel, suspended against the swirling canvas of nebula clouds. Its massive rings spun with mechanical grace, catching the glare of the nearby star and scattering reflections across its metallic hull. Once every century, the Galactic Council gathered here, on this neutral ground, to host its military exposition, a grand display where the most dominant powers revealed their strength. Today, however, marked a turning point. For the first time in the summit's long history, humans had been granted a seat. "A mistake, if you ask me," muttered Vex, tugging irritably at the ceremonial sash draped across his narrow frame. His tall, angular form shifted shades of dusky blue and gray, while three unblinking eyes observed the stream of ships docking outside the viewport. "The Council made its decision," countered Tora, her crimson scales gleaming beneath the station lights as she rolled four broad shoulders in a casual shrug. "Humans achieved faster-than-light travel 3 decades ago. By charter, any species with FTL rights earns an invitation." Vex hissed softly. "Charters can be bent." Countered. "What could they possibly offer? Their fleets are little more than playthings beside ours." Across the vast reception chamber, 4 other commanders traded similar remarks. Mech, his chitinous frame clicking with every twitch of his mandibles, proclaimed proudly that no human craft could match the agility of his people's warships. Gre, his granite hide making him resemble a living monolith, bellowed laughter at the very thought of humans producing vessels capable of surviving a true strike. And Pox, all elegance and luminous eyes that hinted at psionic depth, only smiled faintly, amusement radiating without a word spoken. Together, the 5 stood as pillars of the galaxy's might, and on one matter they were entirely united. Humanity had no place here. The great doors parted with a muted hiss. Every conversation stilled as a lone figure entered the chamber. The human was not what anyone had imagined. Clad in a plain navy uniform bearing only modest insignia, his face betrayed no hint of nerves or pride, only composed determination. Commander Jack Reynolds, the station's eye intoned, delegate of Earth and the Sol System Defense Force. Jack inclined his head respectfully. "We thank you for the invitation. Earth is honored to be here." Vex was the first to step forward, his towering frame casting a long shadow over the human. "Commander Reynolds, I am Supreme Admiral Vex of the Azui Empire. Your presence was unexpected." Jack's lips curved slightly. "Unexpected. Turns make life worth living, Admiral." Then came Tora, her massive steps making the floor tremble. "Battlemaster Tora of the Krell Dominion. Your people have advanced quickly, but this gathering is for those at the very peak of warcraft. Do not let it daunt you." Jack's calm never wavered. "I'll take your advice. I came to learn and to contribute." In turn, the remaining commanders presented themselves. Each greeting carried the same thin edge of condescension, a quiet reminder that humans were outmatched. Chief Strategist Mech of the Hive Collective, War General Grell of the Stone Confederation, and Thought Admiral Pox of the Luminina Concord Jack acknowledged them all with calm courtesy, showing neither arrogance or unease. The stations. I chimed in smoothly. "All delegations are assembled. Please proceed to the presentation chamber for the opening ceremony." The grand hall was prepared for spectacle. At its heart, a vast holographic display projected the image of Unity Station, encircled by countless ships. The alien leaders ascended to their elevated seats, while Jack was guided to a modest chair at the edge. The mediator, a tall figure of liquid silver without features, drifted to the center. "Welcome to the Centennial Military Showcase," it intoned, voice echoing from no fixed source. "For 100,000 years, this summit has preserved peace through balance of strength. Today we welcome our newest neighbors, the humans of Earth." Polite applause rippled across the chamber, though Jack noted several delegates withheld their hands. "We begin with the demonstrations of our established powers, followed by our new guests. Admiral Vex, the floor is yours. Vex rose with pride, tapping a control at his wrist. The hologram shifted, revealing a sleek, shadowed vessel that flickered in and out of sight. "Behold the Shadow Strike," he declared. "Crown jewel of the Azui fleet. With adaptive camouflage, it vanishes from all known sensors, striking unseen, devastating worlds, then vanishing again." A ripple of approval passed through the crowd as the display highlighted its cloaking maneuvers. 2 centuries of engineering. Refinement, Vex continued, sparing Jack a sharp glance. "A true predator requires no armor when it cannot be found." Jack listened in silence, jotting occasional notes on a plain datapad. Then Tora stepped forward, her chest swelling with pride. The hologram shifted again, revealing a titanic dreadnought that dwarfed Vex's vessel. "The World Breaker," she rumbled. "Largest warship ever, constructed by the Krell. Its primary cannon can fracture a planet's crust from orbit. No fleet has ever faced it and endured." The hologram shifted, showing the colossal ship unleashing its weapon on a barren moon, shattering it into drifting fragments. The audience gasped in awe. One by one, the other commanders revealed their creations. Mech's swarm cloud dispersed. Thousands of drones, each moving with flawless synchronization. Grell's starshield deflected even the heaviest simulated bombardments with ease. Pox's Mindweaver pulsed with psychic force, projecting terror into enemy crews until entire squadrons surrendered without firing. After each dazzling demonstration, eyes flicked toward Jack, hunting for signs of fear or wonder. He remained steady, calm, occasionally nodding or scribbling notes when impressed. At last, when all had finished, the mediator's gaze turned. "Commander Reynolds, the Council awaits Earth's presentation." Vex's lips curled into a smirk. "Yes. Human, show us what your fledgling world has managed to cobble together." The hall fell silent as Jack rose, walking to the platform. Instead of activating the hologram, he simply looked around the chamber. "Thank you for your remarkable demonstrations," he said evenly. "Earth's contribution is still en route. It will arrive tomorrow morning." A ripple of disbelief spread, murmurs, chuckles, even open laughter. "Your ship is late?" Mech clicked, mandibles clattering in amusement. "Not late," Jack replied smoothly. "Exactly on schedule. Some things are worth the wait." Tora leaned forward, voice rumbling. "Why not share holographic data as the others have?" Jack offered the faintest smile. "We prefer reality to simulation. You'll understand tomorrow." As the session broke, the alien commanders lingered, eyes following Jack's departure. "Did you see him?" Mech buzzed. No reaction at all. Either humans are too simple to grasp what they witnessed, or Grell pressed, or Pox murmured, gaze fixed on the door Jack had passed through. "They believe they possess something worth showing. Unlikely." "We shall see," Tora rumbled with a dismissive wave. "I expect disappointment." None of them noticed Jack's quiet grin as he strode down the corridor, or the coded signal he sent from his wrist console. "Stage set. Bring her in." The boasts. That evening, the reception aboard Unity glowed beneath the light of 1,000 stars. Delegates from across the galaxy mingled in the vast observation dome, their varied forms shimmering like a living mosaic against the void. Floating attendants carried trays of drinks in every hue, while officers and envoys debated the day's demonstrations. Jack Reynolds stood alone at the great viewport, studying the ships arrayed around the station, each deliberately displayed as a monument to its maker's pride, admiring superior craftsmanship. Human. Jack turned. Vex approached, 3 eyes gleaming, 2 crystalline glasses in hand. He extended one. Jack accepted with a polite nod. "I can always appreciate good engineering," Jack said, sipping cautiously. The drink carried a sharp cinnamon note mixed with something he couldn't place. Your reaction to our demonstrations intrigued me, Vex remarked, blinking his 3 eyes in sequence. Most newcomers are overwhelmed. Jack smiled. Earth is assaying. Never show your cards too early in the game. Cards game. Vex translator seemed confused. It means don't reveal your strengths until the right moment. Before Vex could respond, Tora's booming voice called out across the room. There he is, the human who keeps us waiting. The massive red-scaled alien. Commander pushed through the crowd, followed by the other 3 alien leaders. Why so mysterious about your ship, Commander? Tora asked, looming over Jack. Surely you could show us at least a diagram. Jack took another sip of his drink. I prefer to let actions speak louder than words. Another Earth saying. Mech's mandibles clicked rapidly, the insectoid alien's equivalent of a chuckle. Perhaps there is nothing to show. Perhaps this is just human. What is your word? Bluffing. That would be unwise, Jack replied. His voice calm but firm. Earth doesn't bluff about military matters. Grill. The stone-kinned commander rumbled with laughter. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Tell us, human. What could your species possibly create that would compare to what you saw today? You've had space travel for what, a century? We've been crossing the stars for thousands of years. Jack turned to face all 5 alien commanders. The room had grown quieter as others noticed the confrontation. You're right that we're newcomers to space, Jack admitted. But you are wrong to think that means we're behind in all ways. Pox, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. Thelumanina Kam. Leviathan continued its approach, casting a shadow across the assembled fleet of alien ships. The boasting had ended. Now the real demonstration would begin. 5 aliens boasted about their battleships until they witnessed ours Part 3, the revelation. The presentation chamber of Space Station Unity had fallen into stunned silence. On the massive holographic display, the HSS Leviathan continued its approach, each new detail of the human battleship becoming clearer as it neared. The ship was unlike anything the gathered aliens had ever seen. While their vessels followed the elegant curved designs preferred by most spacefaring races, the Leviathan was all hard angles and flat planes. Its dark hull seemed to swallow light, rather than reflect it. Most shocking was its size. Initial readings suggested it was nearly 5 times larger than Tora's world. Previously considered the largest warship in the galaxy. This is impossible, VX Finale said, breaking the silence. His blue-gray skin had palled considerably. No species builds ships this size. The resources required, the engineering challenges. All solved, Jack replied calmly. The Leviathan was built inside Jupiter's orbit using materials harvested from the asteroid belt. It took our shipyards 3 years to complete. 3 years? Mech's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. The swarm cloud took 20 years to design and build. Jack nodded. We work quickly when necessary. Tora stepped closer to the hologram, her red scales gleaming as she studied the human ship with newfound respect. What are its weapon systems? Before Jack couldn't were, an alarm sounded throughout the station. The mediator floated forward, its silvery form rippling with concern. Unauthorized weapon activation detected, it announced. Multiple ships are powering up defensive systems. On secondary displays around the room, the gathered aliens could see their own vessels moving into defensive positions, shields activating, and weapons coming online. Stand down, Grill ordered into his communication device. This is not an attack. The same is happening with my ships, Vex said, his 3 eyes blinking rapidly as he received updates. The automated defense protocols have activated. They've identified the human vessel as a potential planet killer class threat. More alarms joined the first as the station itself began emergency procedures. Blast doors sealed and non-essential systems shut down. Station Unity is now at defense level, one announced the station's AI. All non-military personnel, please proceed to emergency shelters. Pox turned to Jack, her glowing eyes intense. Your ship has triggered every defense system in the sector. What exactly have you brought here? Jack remained remarkably calm amid the chaos. Exactly what I said. A mid-side battleship. I apologize for the alarm. The Leviathan's passive signature must be stronger than we anticipated. He tapped his wrist device. Captain Lin, power down all offensive systems and broadcast peaceful intentions on all frequencies. The voice that replied was clear and professional. Already done, Commander. We're showing full transparency to the station and all vessels. Number. Weapons hot dot shields at minimum. Slowly, the alarms quieted. The 5 alien commanders huddled together, speaking in urgent tones as they communicated with their respective IPs. Jack turned to the mediator. With your permission, I'd like to invite the 5 commanders aboard the Leviathan for a tour. It might help ease concerns. The mediator's featureless face gave no indication of emotion, but its voice sounded surprised. You would allow foreign military leaders aboard your vessel? Of course, Jack said. This is a showcase after all, and Earth has nothing to hide. The 5 alien commanders exchanged looks of uncertainty. Finally, Vex stepped forward. I accept the invitation, he said. The others followed his lead, though Grell did so with visible reluctance. Excellent, Jack said. We'll take a shuttle from the station's main bay in 1 hour. The journey to the Leviathan took longer than expected. What had appeared close in the holographic display was actually much further away. Another indication of the ship's true size. As their shuttle approached, the 5 alien commanders pressed against the viewports, unable to hide their awe. From this distance, the Leviathan blocked out the stars behind it, a dark mountain floating in space. By the void, whispered Torah. It's even bigger than the scan suggested. Our sensors had difficulty calculating its true dimensions, Jack explained. Thehol material absorbs most scanning waves. The shuttle entered a massive bay that could have housed any of the aliens' flagship vessels with room to spare. Inside, everything was orderly and efficient. Hundreds of smaller craft, fighters, bombers, and support ships were arranged in perfect rows. Crew members in dark uniforms moved with purpose, barely glancing at the arriving shuttle. When they disembarked, a woman in a captain's uniform was waiting. Welcome aboard the Leviathan, she said with a crisp salute. I'm Captain Lin. Commander Reynolds has arranged a complete tour of our vessel. How many crew members does this ship require? Asked Mech, watching the humans moving about the bay. The Kairu. Leviathan operates with a standard complement of 15,000 personnel. Captain Lin replied, though it can function with as few as 500 in emergency situations. 15,000? Grill rumbled in disbelief. The Star Shield requires only 2,000 different design philosophies, Jack said with a slight smile. We believe in redundancy. The tour began with the ship's bridge, a massive command center with stations for hundreds of officers. Displays showed every aspect of the ship's operations, from engineering towapons to navigation. Unlike the colorful holographic interfaces of alien vessels, the human controls were practical and straightforward. Your technology seems less advanced than I expected, Vex observed, studying a navigation console. We favor reliability over flash, Captain Lin replied. Every system has at least 3 backups. Nothing fails completely. As they moved deeper into the ship, the alien commanders saw crew quarters, medical facilities, and recreational areas, all suggesting the Leviathan was designed for long deployments. This ship could remain operational for years without resupply. Pax noted 5 years as the standard deployment, Jack confirmed. Though we've never tested the full duration, the engineering section revealed massive fusion reactors that powered the vessel. Chief Engineer Park, a stocky man with calloused hands, explained the basics. 6 primary reactors, 12 secondaries. He said proudly. Enough power to run Asmo Moon Colony. But it was the weapons control center that finally silenced all doubts. Row after row of weapons officers monitored systems that made the aliens' most destructive technologies look primitive by comparison. Kinetic impact rails, Weapons Officer Rodriguez explained, pointing to on a section. They accelerate projectiles to near light speed. No shield can stop them. Plasma lance batteries, she continued, indicating another area. They can cut through capital ships like butter. And what are those? Tora asked, pointing to the largest display where officers monitored massive cylindrical objects. Rodriguez glanced at Jack, who nodded. Permission. Nova bombs, she said simply. Designed to replicate a small supernova when detonated. We carry 12. The silence that followed was profound. Each alien commander was thinking the same thing. Such weapons could destroy not just ships but entire fleets, entire worlds. Why? Pax finally asked, her glowing eyes dimmed with horror. Why? Build such weapons? Jack's expression grew serious. Because we learned early in our history that being unprepared for threats can mean extinction. We built the Leviathan and ships like it. Not because we want war, but because we never want to face an enemy we cannot defeat. As they returned to the shuttle bay, the 5 alien commanders were subdued. Their earlier boasting seemed hollow now. Their prized warships suddenly inadequate. There's one more thing you should know, Jack said as they prepared to return to the station. The Leviathan is one of 30 similar vessels in Earth's fleet. Vex's 3 eyes widened in shock. 30? Jack nodded. Humanity takes defense seriously. Very seriously. As their shuttle departed the massive ship, the 5 commanders looked back at the Leviathan with new understanding. They had come to Awide the summit to showcase their military might, only to discover a species whose capacity for warfare exceeded anything they had imagined. The boasting had ended. In its place was something new, respect tinged with fear. 5 aliens boasted about their battleships until they witnessed ours Part 4, the demonstration. The 5 alien commanders returned to Space Station Unity in silence, each lost in their own thoughts about what they had witnessed aboard the human battleship. The shuttle docked smoothly, and as they exited into the station's main bay, they found a crowd waiting. Word of the Leviathan had spread quickly throughout the station. Well, asked an eager Azui officer as Vex emerged. Is it really as big as the sensors say? Bigger, Vex replied quietly. Much bigger. The commanders were quickly surrounded by officers from their respective fleets, all demanding details about the human vessel. Jack stood back, watching the animated conversations with a small smile. The mediator floated toward him, its silvery form reflecting lights of the bay. Commander Reynolds, the Council requests a formal demonstration of your vessel's capabilities. Jack nodded. The Leviathan is prepared for a full demonstration. We'll need a suitable location away from the station. The outer system has a debris field from a destroyed moon. The mediator suggested it would provide adequate targets without endangering any inhabited areas. Perfect, Jack agreed. We can begin in 2 hours. News of the upcoming demonstration